Bekwani bangalo be mabelemba na musia. Bakoba be boki be otomba mbae.
She's so beautiful. She's black and beautiful. She's so beautiful. She's black and beautiful. She's so beautiful. She's Africa.
Bakoba be boki be oyoye mbae. Bakoba miango be odangwane miango. Bakoba miango be oyoye.
Hello there, how you doing? I'm really sorry, I need to apologize for the long absence. I have been trying all I can to catch up with all the work that I have to do. You know how life is. Life doesn't wait for anybody, no matter what. I have been filming, doing series, movie, PSAs, doing the NDLEA campaign, a lot of things that I'm trying to catch up with. Because the truth of the matter is, if you really want to succeed and achieve all you want to achieve, you can't afford to stop. You have to keep going, and that's what I've been doing. Well, anyway, a couple of weeks ago, my daughter, my 14-year-old daughter, Isabel, came to me and asked me a very unusual question. You know, she asked me if she could have her own Facebook account. And I said no. When I said no, she looked at me like, what's this woman talking about? How can she say no? Because she really expected me to accept and say yes. So I said no. I'm very sure that at that point, she would have killed me if she could. And I'm sure that if she had spoken to her peers or her classmates who already have Facebook accounts, she would want to swap me for someone else's mom. I understand that. But here's the thing, okay? Now, I have two daughters, everybody knows that. My first daughter is 14, my second daughter is 11. They both have email addresses. They have email accounts. And I couldn't do anything much about that because they needed it for school. Now, the way that this generation are being taught, they get their school activities, their homework from the school websites. They are encouraged to do that. Go to the school website, get your homework, do your homework on the internet, you know, type it and then print it out, get all your information, everything you need from the internet. So that's fine. But the thing is, I know that they understand technology. I know that they can, they're better with the computer than I am. I must admit, you know, I'm still learning a lot of things. When it comes to the internet, they can navigate their way through. But my daughter just doesn't understand why I am protecting her, as far as I'm concerned, from things that she may not understand now. Now, I know that when Facebook and Twitter, when they were created, it was mostly for, you know, socializing, networking, meeting people, you know, making friends, and you never know. Those friendships can turn into, you know, serious relationships. They can turn into lifelong friendships. They can even turn into business. And somewhere along the line, some people use Facebook and Twitter to grow and expand their business, their customer base, which is very good, which is what it was meant for. But unfortunately, we know now that social media is used more for negative things than positive things. I'm sorry to say, but that's the truth. And when it comes to kids who are not old enough to understand the meaning of what it is that they're doing, I'm worried about that. I don't know about people. I'm not saying that people should do what I say or accept what I say. But for me, this is personal. This is my own personal opinion. I don't think that my 14-year-old daughter is old enough to have a Facebook account or a Twitter account. Let me use just 3 basic reasons. There are more, but let me use 3 basic reasons. The first one, cyberbullying. Bullying, you know. Nowadays we hear bullying in school, people are doing campaigns and all that, stop bullying, because a lot of children, believe it or not, have killed themselves or killed other children because of bullying. But if you think that bullying is only physical or only in school, you're joking. Right inside your home, cyberbullying can be taking place with your kids and you may not know. You might think, oh, I have the money, you know, I'm a new generation parent, my kids can have access to everything, they can be exposed to the internet, we can afford it, so let them do what they want to do. But you don't understand the kind of things that can happen on the internet. I heard recently about a young boy, I don't think he's even up to 13, who shot his mother and shot himself because he was bullied. He opened his own Facebook account, and through that Facebook account, someone started telling him how ugly he was, how dumb he was, how he couldn't post anything important, how out of place he was a lonely boy. They made him feel so horrible. He hated himself so much. He got up one day, took his gun, shot his mother, and shot himself. Now that is him being inside his home and going through all of that. He didn't even have to go outside of his home to be bullied. I'm sorry, call me old-fashioned, I don't mind. But I will not expose my child to that, I'm sorry. Another thing, peer pressure. Have you heard of what they call cinnamon challenge? Where some kids just pack cinnamon raw and just start to put it in their mouth and then choke. That is crazy. But it was a trend on Twitter and on Facebook. They would just gather themselves in a room and they'll put the pictures on Facebook or put the videos up there for people to see. Maybe 5 or 6 kids will line up in a friend's house, all in the name of having fun and, you know, enjoying with your friends. And they all pack these things and call them fun challenges. And a lot of kids have died through that. Some have had accidents. Or the latest trend after that came up where they said children now know how to make themselves faint. I'm like, are you kidding? To people like us, it's crazy. Nobody can ever make you do that. But to your 12-year-old, 13-year-old, 14-year-old, whom all they're interested in, apart from school, is their friends, is having fun, is their peers. That's all they're interested in. Think about it. What would a 13-year-old or a 14-year-old be doing on the internet? What kind of content do you think they'll want to check out? Your Sunday school preaching or what? No. That for me is a problem. And then the most important one that scares me the most, especially because I have daughters who are very beautiful. Pedophiles, sexual predators, who would start sending you pictures. They will send you, in fact, horrible pictures of themselves or other things. And you know, at that age, their hormones are raging. At that age, kids want to explore. Their bodies are moving. They don't understand what's going on inside of their bodies. That is when all that sexuality starts to pop its head up and they don't know what to do with it. And then you find people who you see every day, who you chat with every day, sending you pictures, sending you words that are what we call profanity, sending you things that you have no business looking at, and then you getting addicted to it. And then some children get addicted to pornography, while others start to form unnecessary relationships via Facebook or Twitter that they themselves think is very harmless, or they themselves do not even understand. The list is endless. I don't know how other people see. In fact, I started a conversation on Twitter and Facebook, and the question was, at what age would you allow your child to be exposed to social media? And a lot of people sent in their views. I learned a lot. I was shocked at some. Some I understood. Some said 16, some said 18, some said when the child is old enough to vote. Some said I don't care any age. Some said that's fine. Everybody has their own personal opinion. For me, my child is 14. I say no to Facebook. I say no to Twitter. Next year she'll be 15. I will not consider it. Have your email account. Do what you need to do. That's fine. So for me, when my daughter is 16, I might start to consider Facebook and Twitter. Because yes, and also because of who I am, I have to be able to protect my children at some point. They have to make their own choices and say, okay, I'm ready to go out in the world and be identified. But for now, I will protect them. Because people have accused me of different things. People have said also, oh, you don't put out your children's picture. Are you not proud of them? You don't go out with them. You don't take them out. I don't want to. I want them to live normal lives. Go to normal schools, have normal friends, live the life that they want to live until it's time for them to say, okay, you know what, I really want to do this. I want to get into this, because the important thing is, I don't think, for me, my children are ready for that at this age. I don't know about you, but it's something that you should think about. It is something you should think about, and you must also try to find out what they're doing and what they're looking up on the internet. There's always a history. If you have a computer in the house that they normally use, maybe you should check it out once in a while and find out what it is that they're interested in and what they look at. And their phones. We have a lot of 10-year-olds now who have phones that you can Google anything. You can Google anything. You can go on the internet and check nonsense, crap. And at that age, they already know more than we do. There's so much you can do, yes, I understand. Some people might be watching this now and saying, Stella, what are you talking about? Any child that wants to do this is very easy. How many times or how many of them do you want to cut? Well, whatever it is that you can do to help, especially if your child knows that her mother or her father is crazy like I am and can walk into that room, set up the computer and start to check the history of everything. When you know that, you be careful about what you look for or what you search. But then again, I also know that we have to trust our children. I accept that, I believe that, encourage them. But for me, Facebook, Twitter, not now. Not now. We've seen too much and we know too much about what's going on. They might not, and they might not understand. But if you agree with me, it's time to start explaining better to your children why you are protecting them. You're not being too difficult or too mean or too harsh or too old-fashioned. You're just protecting them, and one day they'll thank you for it. So, thanks for watching, and please keep the emails coming. I do read them and I really enjoy them. Thank you for those who have encouraged me, who advised me, who give me ideas of what to talk about. Thank you so much. But just remember, it's not who people say you are. It's who God says you are. See you in the next episode.
She's so beautiful.